You have got to wear what you want to wear. If you feel beautiful and confident in a certain item, go for it.
Like, I don't care if you have 2 followers on Instagram or 1 million followers on Instagram. You post that selfie and whatever clothes you want and you will look good, and it doesn't matter because you're doing it for you.
False. First off, you post that selfie to Instagram, you might not look good, okay? She said, you'll look good. No, you won't. Most of the time you won't, especially if you're taking your previous guidelines of, I hate the word flattering. I don't want to wear anything flattering. Take your unflattering clothes that don't fit you and post it to Instagram. You won't look good. By the way, no one cares. It doesn't matter. You're doing it for you. That's incorrect because you just put a measurement on it, whether you have 1 followers or 1 million followers. You are posting it entirely for validation from someone else. This is the ultimate irony. These people in the plus size movement, in the fat pride movement, trying to tell young girls who, by the way, may be overweight, and I understand that I'm not insensitive to it, but you are telling them to find identity in the very thing that you claim to hate, which is shallow, skin deep, superficial judgment. And then you say, but you upload that picture of you in your clothes or you in your bikini to Instagram and get your validation, because that's what you do the metric is how many followers on validation, but if they don't, it doesn't matter because you're doing it for you. If you're doing it for you, just get in the tub, look down at yourself naked. Say, okay, good, I'm happy with it. It's self-esteem currency. And these people should be bankrupt. I deserve just as much self-esteem as you do. No, you don't. You don't. You haven't earned self-esteem. It's like Dr. Peterson says, you can't force me to respect you. You can't force somebody else out there to find you attractive. You can't force clothes to look good on you. You can't force men to no longer find certain features that we have biologically evolved to deem attractive, no longer attractive. You can't force that upon someone else. And let's get into some talking about unhealthy body images for one. The problem here is, again, this victim culture, whether it's Black Lives Matter, whether it's 1% versus the 99%, or big fat women on BuzzFeed telling you that they don't want to wear flattering clothes, but you better like their picture on Instagram anyway. There are unintended consequences that create actual victims. But first, let's get into it. Okay, the average woman right now in the United States is 166 pounds. Okay. You're considered obese if you are over about 170 pounds in the United States, if you look at these charts. So what these women are trying to claim is, I would venture they're much more than 166 pounds. By the way, that's just the average. Here's the thing. We're obese as a nation right now. So this is something my doctor told me too, when you're doing these averages. I have hypothyroidism, so I can put on weight really, really quickly. So you have to check things, your TSH, T3, T4. I won't bore you with the technicality. But I spoke with my doctor. I said, okay, what should my TSH be? He said, okay, there are 2 ways to look at this. Most doctors will say between 0.5 and 5 about should be your blood level of TSH. I said, okay. He said, but that's not what I do. I said, what do you mean? He said, that level, 0.5 to 5, includes everyone in society who has hypothyroidism or metabolic syndrome or diabetes. So that 0.5 to 5 includes people who would skew that scale very unhealthily. So for me, I'd like to see it between 0.5 and 2.5. And I thought, wow, that makes remarkable sense. So when you remove people who are obese, the average healthy weight for a female, around that average height of 5'3", 5'4", 5'5", is about 130 pounds. Give or take 20. As you get taller, give or take 30. We know what is healthy. And here's the thing. There's a wide spectrum there. Most guys will find you attractive if you're somewhere on that graph outside of what is considered morbidly obese. So who are the unintended victims? What are the unintended consequences here? Boys, men who are married to you, they don't expect you to be perfect. They still like seeing naked women. In that same breath, if you're a land whale, most men won't find you attractive, and most clothes makers won't make tarps that fit that kind of a specialized clothing category. That's not their fault. It's your fault. And if you're going to go on Instagram, or you're going to go on YouTube, you're going to go on Twitter, and you're going to demand that they validate you, and when they don't, demand that they are censored, guess what? I don't care if you're plus-sized. You are the bad guy, not them.